Hi everyone, it's me B. I hope you're good. So I'm on today to talk about my September roundup. Okay, so let's crack on. Okay, so activities. I kind of met up with a fellow YouTuber and his channel is called Sicx. His name is Joe. It's picture up there, two of us. And we kind of met up local to me. We went for a bite to eat. We read each other's tarot cards, and we spoke about tarot for about 4 hours we were together. It was fantastic. We spoke about tarot meetups in his local area, what tarot decks he wants to kind of buy or is on his wish list. I showed him my tarot decks and what was on my wish list. It's just so nice to meet up with someone, talk about tarot, and people just don't go, oh, not again, like most of my friends do. We also kind of went second-hand perusing, so second-hand shopping perusing. We didn't actually buy anything, but we just kind of looked around a few second-hand shops and then we kind of parted ways. I also went to a beauty show at the end of September. I try and go every year. It's normally held over 2 days, and they do things like makeup and nails and hair products. I mostly go for the nail products and the makeup products. So I went there and I met two interesting characters, which I'll put on the screen right now for you to have a look at. Okay, so films. Didn't watch any films this month. I kind of like pre-programmed some dramas, TV dramas, and I watched those over the month of September. So for example, I'm a big Kath Cookson fan, and normally on a Sunday afternoon on a UK channel called the Drama Channel, they show her films. So I've been recording those for quite a while, and I spent the month of September just catching up and kind of watching Catherine Cookson dramas. Okay, so moving on to tarot. Okay, so let's talk about cards that I use for the month of September. So normally every month I try and use decks in Instagram challenges. So you normally get 30 or 31 days of questions where you use cards, oracles, and normans, whatever you feel like. And I think it's a good way to kind of see whether your actual decks work for you or whether you can connect with them. So the decks that I intended to use for my September Instagram challenge, which was called Tarot for Growth September, and it was hosted by somebody called Bojo Witchcraft. So I intended originally to use this one here, which is the Lucid Tarot deck. This one here, the Fountain Tarot, which is the mass-produced one, and this one here, which is the Mystic Mondays deck, which is also the mass-produced one. So I intended to use all these 3 decks for the month of September, but then I received my copy of the Modern Day Witch Tarot, which is this one. So I only used the latter 3 for maybe 2 weeks, and then from 2 weeks, from the last 2 weeks, I used this deck. I have done a flip through of this deck. I've done a deck interview spread of this deck, and I think maybe next week, because that will be 3 weeks that I've had this deck, I will be doing another video on you know, how the deck's going for me, and you know, what am I liking about the deck and what I'm not liking about the deck. So basically a review. So I'll be doing that next week. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly flip through some of these cards with you. So this one here is the Six of Coins. This is the Lucid Tarot by Tarot Mum 13. The Sun card. And the Hierophant card. For the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck, I'll show you a few of these cards. So, the Magician card. Hope this is clear because I'm not very good at showing the camera this way. So I've got the High Priestess card. And the Empress card. And then for the Fountain Tarot, I quite like this deck actually. It's kind of like a minimalist deck, and just an interesting deck. I'll show you some of the cards. Very nice card stock. So you've got this one, which is the Tower card. Tower card there. You've got the Seven of Wands. And this one here is the... And then you've got the Eight of Wands. Look at the backs of the cards. Aren't they just gorgeous? Okay, so I also received a couple of tarot decks in the month of September. And I worked with a couple of tarot books. I didn't actually read for pleasure this month because it was quite a busy month. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you the decks and the books that I worked with for the month of September. Hi everyone, so I've turned the camera around to show you the decks that I received for the month of September, and a couple of the books that I worked with as well for the month of September. Okay, so let's start with the decks. So I bought this deck here, the Crystal Unicorn Tarot by Pamela Chen from Amazon.com. I've been wanting this deck for quite a while, but on Etsy the actual delivery charge is almost the same price as the deck. And when I thought about the added custom charges that will be added onto it, it would have probably cost me about £70 for a £22 deck. But on Amazon.com, this deck was going for actually the equivalent of £25, and then the delivery was about $6, which is probably about £4.50, and there was no custom charges attached to it. So let's show you this deck. It's in this pull-up box. So it comes with a guidebook or a little white book, and it just gives you the introduction. It talks about the major arcana, the minor arcana, and then each of the suits. For example, wands, cups, swords, pentacles, and then it goes on to talk about the spreads. So let's have a look at the spreads, because I do like spreads in guidebooks or little white books. So you've got the Crystal Unicorn Guide. And it's got here, this deck was created to assist you in connecting to your unicorn guides. It is designed in a way where you can receive messages from your unicorn guides through the structure of the tarot. This spread is your first step in opening the door to that communication. It's a simple 4-card line spread. So you obviously place each card in 4 lines. And then the first card, or position 1, is you. And this card represents where you are right now and your adventures in life. And then position 2 is your happiness. Position 3 is your purpose. And position 4 is your intuition. And then there's the Unicorn Crystal Ball spread, which looks very similar to a 5-card Celtic cross spread. And then position 1 is the blockages. Position 2 is what you need to release. Position 3 is the support. Position 4 is the action, and position 5 is the future. So it comes with those 2 spreads. So let's have a look at the cards. I'll show you some of the cards. So you kind of get like a thank you card from Pamela, and it just says here, yay, unicorn, thank you for purchasing the Crystal Unicorn Tarot. If you like to learn tarot or create a tarot deck with me, check me out, and then she gives you a website. Or if you have any concerns or questions, email me, and you've got her email address. In the meantime, enjoy your magical deck. Oh, that's such a nice gesture. And then she's put her Instagram address there, and an Amazon thing here as well. You know, suggesting that you give her a five-star review on Amazon. So I'll just show you a few of these cards. It's the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess. So basically it's Rider-Waite inspired, but instead of people, you've got unicorns there. So that's the first deck. that I received in September. Put this back. Okay, another deck that I received in September was this one. Let's just take it out of the bag. So this is the bag that that is attached to the deck. It's a Lascarabelle bag, and the deck is called the Santa Muretti Tarot. On the cover you've got the High Priestess, and on the back I think this is a Death card, and obviously the bag reflects the Death card. So it's a Lascarabelle deck. I got this deck to kind of help me come to terms with death, because I've got a big fear of death and funerals and anything to do with death, to be quite honest. So it comes with this small guidebook or pocket guidebook. I love the sepia kind of background. I like reading on sepia. So this is a Lascarabelle deck which was published in 2017. And this book is written in English, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and I think that's Polish. So the first 5 pages are in English, and it just talks about the artwork, which is by Fabio Lestrani. Gives you a bit about Fabio. For example, he was born in Rome in 1981. He's a digital artist, author, graphic designer of world fame, with many years of experience in the creation of various types of artistic and graphic productions. I mean, it just talks about the Santa Muretti Tarot, and it's got here, the dead are reborn and lie again in the belly of the conscience. I mean, it just goes into each kind of card. And it gives you the advice of the dead for each card. So for example, the Fool card, the advice is: continue along your road, having focused on your objectives. Often travelling lightly and freeing yourself of some baggage can help to channel your energies better. There doesn't seem to be any reverse meanings in this book, and there's no spreads either. Okay, so let's have a look at the cards. So it comes with a kind of like a title card. These are the backs of the cards. I guess they're reversible. It's just a Lascarabelle cardstock, but quite thick actually. It's not that flimsy. And I'll just show you a few of the cards. So you've got the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. So the cards are kind of borderless with bottom borders, which is okay. Okay, so that's the second deck that I received for the month of September. Let's put this back. Okay, so moving on to the books that I worked with. The first one here is called the Complete Tarot Spreads. It's by Evelyn Berger and Jonah Fearbig. So I usually do like weekly personal readings for my subscribers, and I like to use this book for kind of spreads. But to be quite honest, I'm going to change those weekly personal readings now to monthly ones, because they do take a bit of time to kind of do, you know. Okay, so let's look at her introduction. So she says here, tarot cards are very old playing cards. In its contemporary form, the tarot deck contains 78 cards. This book offers you a guide for reading those tarot cards. It shows you what you may experience with them and how to become familiar with their inner connections. Whether you read this book from cover to cover or use parts of it, or use it as a reference book, it will mysteriously yet clearly strengthen your personal magical powers with the cards when you practice with them. And then it just tells you how to use this book from a beginner perspective, from an advanced perspective, and from an expert perspective. And then at the bottom here, it's got here, many people refer to their cards of the day or day cards on a regular basis. And then it's got here about working with chants, tarot cards, expressions in TV scenes, an advantage of the day card, etc. So let's look at the kind of spreads that are in here. Let's see if there's an index in this book, because I've noticed that a lot of books don't come with indexes no more. Okay, so in the index, it's got here basics, personality and year cards, I guess large layouts, theme cards, reading for yourself, additional applications, for 78 cards, a network, every card of the world. And then it's got here the layouts for every day, tendencies and perspectives, relaxation exercises, etc, etc, and then tarot and astrology. So it's quite a good book. Can you see the spreads there? They're quite nice. So I will leave a link to this book in the description bar, should anybody be interested, or if anybody likes doing spreads like I do. Very nice book. Okay, another book that I've been working with for the month of September is this one. It's called the Tarot Directory by Annie Lynette. This is quite an old book actually. I've had it in my collection for many years, but I just felt like working with it for September. So at the side of the book you've got little tabs here, and it's got tarot basics, major arcana, minor arcana, the reading, and case histories. I like the way that it's kind of ring binded in a kind of hardcover format. So it was published in 2004 by the Ivory Press Limited. I can't actually remember where I got this book from because I've had it that long. And it just tells you how to use the books and about the different decks and different influences. And then it goes into tarot basics. It talks about the history and the symbols of the tarot, learning to trust the tarot, delving beneath the surface, illuminating our inner fears, more decks, more influences. It talks about the major arcana, it looks at the major arcana at a glance, and then it talks about the minor arcana and all the different suits like the cups, wands, pentacles, swords and stuff. And then it talks about preparing for a reading, choosing a pack, seeing the scene, etc, etc. And then it gives you case histories. So it talks about the Celtic cross, the 3-card spread, the horoscope spread, the triangle, the star spread, etc, etc. I just want to look at choosing a pack, because this is quite an old book. When you are choosing a deck, there are specific points that you should bear in mind. If you are buying your own pack, it is important that it has a strong visual appeal that stimulates your imagination and speaks to you in some way. If you get the chance to view a sample pack, have a look at all the cards and see if they appeal to your sense of colour, style and imagery. The type of pack that you choose will depend to a large extent on how you intuitively respond to the cards, as well as on your own background and particular interest. It is, however, important to use tarot decks of your own and not one that belongs or has belonged to somebody else. It is not possible to imprint your own psychic vibration on the cards and make them personal to you if someone else has already coloured with them with their own energetic imprint. Selecting the pack yourself will help you develop your intuitive and perhaps even psychic abilities. It will also attune you more successfully when you are giving a reading. So that's a bit about that. So this is the month of September. I hope you've enjoyed listening, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care. Bye.